Alright, so if you want to install a specific version of CUDA toolkit, you can go in here and see which version you want to install. I am going to install the latest, which is right now 12.9.0. So if I go to the home page, it you can choose all of this. So I have Linux and Ubuntu, and I have 22.04, and then you can choose whether you want to do installation through this. I have found that using the deb local is more straightforward, so that's what I'm going to use. So we're going to basically follow these instructions. And before we go there, let's look at the instructions that are mentioned in their documentation. Here. So this is the official documentation from NVIDIA, and this is where the instructions are for installing, uninstalling. So now for Ubuntu, the instructions to install are here, and these are actually the same instructions that are summarized here. So they're exactly the same. But before we start the installation, let's make sure we follow these pre-installation steps. So if we go here, then you can go into the details of checking whether you have CUDA capable GPU, all of this, very important GCC version. So let me just show you what it will look like. Paste. So you should see something like 11 or 12. Okay, so now we've done that, and then choose an installation method. We'll go to what they meaning is. So as they say here, there's so many installation methods. So package manager installation, run file installation, CUDA installation. You can follow either one. I am going to use this package manager installation today. Okay, then they're saying, and then you just download the toolkit, and then you can verify the installation. I think we're good here. So I am now, after making sure everything is correct, I'm going to go to the installation. So since I'm going to choose this package manager installation, I'm going to go down and go to Ubuntu and follow the steps here. Okay, like I said, the steps here are the same that you have here. So essentially what you can do is you can pause the video and copy these commands and paste in your command window and do it all the way here. So don't execute the last command yet, because I want to share what that command means. Okay, so just pause the video and let's just do this copy paste in our command. All right, let's resume. So by this point you should have executed all the steps up till here. So now we are on to the final step, which is to install the CUDA toolkit. So this is important because here they are just showing you one way, but if we go here, these are all the meta packages. So basically, remember previously we had mentioned that when you install CUDA toolkit, it is possible to install driver at the same time, or you can just install CUDA toolkit and leave the driver alone. So these meta packages allow you to do that. So as you can see, now in the last command here, if you say install CUDA toolkit and then you're specifying the version, that means you are doing CUDA toolkit and then specifying the version. You are installing just the CUDA toolkit, not the driver. But however, let's say you want to install the driver as well, then you would say install CUDA. So instead of saying CUDA toolkit -9 you would say install CUDA, and when you do that you will get both the CUDA toolkit and the driver packages. So in my case, as I stated, I don't want to install the driver, so I am just going to choose this option. Okay, then it is going to install the CUDA toolkit for us. Okay, now I have rebooted my computer and I assume you have done the same. Finally, now we have one last step to do before we consider the installation to be successful and complete, which is to perform these post-installation actions. So let's see what they are. So here they say that we have to set up some environment variables. So let's make sure we add these environment variables in our bash RC for them to retain over boot cycles. Okay, so I'm going to open my bash RC, and then we are going to add these two statements. We're going to first add this to the path by just copying it. Okay, and then we are also going to copy this, and then we save our bash RC. Finally, we're going to open a new terminal, because in order to load the bash RC we have to reload our terminal. So let's do that, and then here now remember from the last videos that in order to check the toolkit version we will use nvcc and say version. So this nvcc utility comes as part of the CUDA toolkit. So if we say that, we should see that we now have the CUDA toolkit installed and it is 12.9. And then if we go back here to nvidia SMI to check the driver version, as we saw in the previous videos was 570. Okay, so one important thing, in my case I had done the pre-check before, compatibility pre-check before, so I knew that 570 was compatible with 12.9. But for you, if let's say you don't know whether your driver is compatible with it, what you should do is go to the release notes for 12.9 in this case. So if we go here and then we go to the release notes for 12.9, you'll see the content here. So this everything here is what gets installed when you're installing this CUDA toolkit. And one thing that you will see here is if you when you install CUDA toolkit, if you use the meta package that we saw before, if you use the meta package that comes with the driver, so then you will have this driver installed as part of installing the CUDA toolkit. But in my case, I left the driver alone, so I just installed the CUDA toolkit. So in my case, the driver that I have is the driver that I had before I installed the CUDA toolkit. Now, if we go further down, here they will tell you that for CUDA toolkit to work, the driver that is compatible is any driver that is higher than this version. So 525 for 12.x. In my case, I have 570, which is higher than 525. So CUDA 12.9, CUDA toolkit 12.9 that I had installed should work on my machine, theoretically. Alright, so this is pretty much it with the installation of the CUDA toolkit and the driver. So now, before I move on, I want to go back here one more time and I want to reiterate things that we are seeing here. So NVCC, this is what we get when we install CUDA toolkit. In this case, I had installed 12.9, so that's what you see. So this is the version of the CUDA toolkit. Now, nvidia SMI, this gets installed when you install the driver. So the driver version is 570, and you see here CUDA version 12.8. So again, this CUDA version has nothing to do with the runtime CUDA toolkit that you just install. So this CUDA version here is just stating that this driver can support CUDA toolkit versions up to 12.8. But notice one thing which I was pretty confused before I started reading the documentations. So one thing, it can get confusing. So here the statement that I said, this is the CUDA toolkit version, up to this version is what this driver can support. However, I have 12.9, which is higher than this, and I'm saying that this driver is compatible with that. So you have to read about this minor version compatibility on this page here, minor version compatibility. So read this, and then you will understand why I am saying that even though this is lower than this version, I'm saying that this driver will still support this 12.9. So the answer to that question is in the details here when you read about the minor version compatibility. Okay, that is all for the installation. So let's just go back to my notes to make sure I covered everything. So we talked about checking the driver version, how to uninstall the driver, how to install the driver, and then we went through installing the CUDA toolkit. Well, checking the CUDA toolkit version if you have, and then uninstalling it if you need to, and then installing the CUDA toolkit, which we just did. So that is really it for installation of CUDA toolkit and the driver. So next we want to verify that the installation works. For that we will use NVIDIA's recommended method here. So here in their documentation they say optional actions. So recommended actions is verify installation. Yeah, so we will follow through these steps, recommended actions, to verify the installation was correct, and I'll do in the next video. Thank you. Bye.